Welcome everybody back for another episode of the Slowburn Show. This is episode number 10. Uh Hopefully what I'm trying to do for the 10th episode is start our own Instagram, so that'll be like the cool new thing that we did for number 10. But before we get into last week's card with Jon Jones and everything, do you have any non-MMA topics?
I had one, but I forgot to write it down, so I don't remember what it was. But it was something interesting. If I remember it, I'll definitely say it.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
lot of
go
the
ahead.
the MMA news
It's
really
just the
uh,
Ultimate Fighter.
yeah, that and like Jon Jones, like and their stuff that happened, just recapping last week. But yeah, if we talked about tough, uh apparently McGregor and Chandler don't really like each other that much. Like it turned from them being nice to now they hate each other. And I didn't get a
Not
chance.
unexpected.
Right, not super unexpected, but we didn't know if we were gonna get super nice Connor or we were gonna get the guy that's in your face
I don't.
Connor.
I don't think we'll ever get nice Connor again.
Yeah, I think he's
He got KO'd when he was nice. Now he's
yeah.
like, nah,
Yeah.
that was cursed.
Yeah, it was cursed. But I didn't get the chance to watch the full Michael Chandler interview that they did at UFC. I thought you were frozen for a second. I didn't get to watch the full interview that they did at UFC 285 at like their little press conference, but it seems like some issues definitely went down inside the cage or something. But I guess we can just hop into last week's card with Jon Jones and Cyril Gane. We can start with Bo Nickel versus Jamie Pickett. Kind of just went exactly how I expected it to go, but I did not pick the right person. But I said on my in the podcast and in on my Instagram story saying that I didn't think he was gonna win, but I just wouldn't risk $2,800 on anybody. I feel like in the UFC, but
Yeah, you just never know.
yeah, but
All it takes is one punch.
yeah, but you picked Bo Nickel on that one, and definitely came through with the risk. You got $100 profit on that one off of $2,800 risking. That's crazy though. If you think if somebody like really did that in real life as well. But uh,
Ooh,
did you see the? Did you watch the main card?
I watched the main card, and I think
Okay,
I watched Cody Garbrandt's fight.
okay. And then what did you think about the low blow situation?
I didn't see that then. I guess I
You
didn't
did,
watch that part.
when Bo Nickel and Jamie Pickett clinched up against the fence, Bo Nickel kneed him in the nuts, and
Oh,
then
okay, yeah, I saw that.
Jamie
Yeah.
Pickett looked at the ref and was like, "What the hell?" And then he got taken down right as soon as he was doing that. But a lot of that is Jamie Pickett's fault for not staying in the moment. He should have just disregarded it and tried to defend the takedown. But also the ref should have recognized it and stopped the action, broke him apart, and gave him a second because it ultimately ended the fight. And I heard that Jamie Pickett's team was trying to appeal it, like go to the commission and get it turned into a no contest. But what is that really gonna do? You know, it's not. You're not gonna get
You
paid.
run it back.
You're
You
not
run
gonna
it back.
get paid more. But I guess you just won't have the L on your record, and he won't have the win. But who really cares?
He looked good. He looked good.
Yeah. Uh, Jalen Turner versus Mateus Gamrot was a absolute war. Um, do you think Gamrot won?
I think so.
I watching it. I at the end I thought it seemed like Mateus was getting to all of his takedowns when he went for him anytime he wanted them, and uh, I felt like he executed his game plan to the fullest. So if we're basing the criteria off who was doing more or who was executing their game plan more, think you would definitely give it to Gamrot. But uh, Jalen Turner needs to get better at defending those takedowns and not getting taken down so much. I think
True.
some people. I should have looked on the verdict scorecard. I can look real quick, but
I think everybody picked the exact same thing.
for
Like everybody.
But I'm talking about like the global. They'll do like a global scorecard about like everybody
Oh,
on verdict, and wonder who they think won that fight. But uh, again, like I was saying, like he just really needs to get better at defending takedowns, and he definitely would have won. Actually, every fan said that he won every round, or not every fan, but the average
the
fan,
majority.
yeah, the majority fans picked him to win every single round, 30-27. But even people in the arena, I was seeing clips, people were freaking out that one judge scored it as that, and I guess it's not as crazy to think about it now looking at the verdict scorecards that they said the same thing, but people were freaking out like 30-27. How was that 30-27? Like they thought Jalen Turner at least won one round, but who cares at this point? It's over and done with, and both guys could have did more anyway, in my opinion.
Mm.
Um, moving on to Jeff Neal versus Shavkat Rakhmonov. What do you think of this fight?
Hey, he got what I wanted him to get. I think.
That was
I
like
think it was
a
bad on him.
that was like a choke that you would see at like a bar that a security guard that knows no training at all like just does to a guy. Like rear naked choked him, but his legs were in front of him. Like it was the weirdest position that he got that choke in, but it was an absolute war up until then. Jeff Neal definitely showed that he was better than I thought he was going to do, or he did better than I thought he was going to do. Still got finished, which is what we kind of predicted was going to happen, but props to Jeff Neal for staying in there. Even though he missed weight, he missed by 4 pounds, he still put on a good showing.
He lasted longer than I thought he would have.
Yep. And then
I thought it was gonna be a first round.
get into the fight that kind of ruined it for us all when it came to the Slowburn showdown. Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso, man. That was definitely a shocker to me. Definitely a big
Yeah,
shocker. I was my mouth was open, jaw dropped. I was just
it
in
happened
awe
so
that
fast.
I was in awe that I was in awe that it happened. It just happened so damn quick. And the mark on Valentina Shevchenko's face was
Mm.
red as hell.
As, yeah,
But she was a minus 925 on our Slowburn showdown, so we risked $925 for that one, and that's what really
yeah,
hit the tank, man. If Valentina would have won, we both would have went positive, but obviously that's not the case.
she did.
Yeah. But I guess we can move on from the bullet. I guess who do you think wins in the rematch, and what do you think the odds will look like then?
Um, I felt. I don't know. I think since she's not the champion now, she'll win the rematch. But if they were the champion, if she was the champion and they fought again, I think it would kind of go the same way. I feel like she's the kind of champion who just kind of looks
You
bigger.
think she feeds into her own ego at all?
Mhm.
She gets a little bit too full of herself, I feel like sometimes, and thinks she thought she was dominating the whole fight up
I
until
thought she
then.
would. I thought she was winning the fight for sure.
Yeah,
But then she.
I thought she was winning, but if she didn't tap to that choke, I thought it was gonna go into the fifth 2-2. I thought Alexa Grasso won the first round, and then I thought Valentina won 2 and 3, and then going into four, I think obviously if it would have ended with Alexa on her back choking her out like she was, uh, I think she would have won that round, and it would have been 2-2 going into five. But either way, it doesn't matter because she choked her the hell out. Um, and then a fight that's not gonna really take much speaking, but the goat Jon Jones choking out the number one contender Cyril Gane in under 2 minutes, quick as hell.
I think it could have been quicker, to be honest.
What do you mean by that?
I think he could have finished him quicker.
Like, I feel like he did seem a little like I don't know, like
I mean, it was 2 minutes. That's still pretty fast. I
that
feel like he could have
is
done.
super fast, but Uh, I guess I can see what you're saying because on the feet when they first came out, I could see like John having a little bit like it was looking like he was trying to faint, but it was almost like he was just shaking so much from like I don't think John like was too much in the moment or felt the moment was too high or whatever, but sure it felt a little weird after being gone for 3 years and then having to strike with somebody that can hit you at full force probably is a little nerve wracking at least. Um,
Oh yeah.
but he did that shit really quick. He slipped the overextended left hand by Cyril Gane and took him down with almost ease. And a lot of people think it was like, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but some people might think that it was only one takedown that Jon did to try and get him down, but it was a matter of like 3 different takedowns, and it was the third takedown that he did that actually got Ciryl down to the ground. And first he did the double to get in on the entry, and then he tried to trip him backwards, and then when Ciryl overcorrected himself and caught his balance, he drove him completely forward onto his 2 hands and knees. And once it was from there, I was telling all the people at my house, like, if he gets 3 takedowns, I think it's over. I think if he gets 1 and Ciryl gets up, he may be fine. If he gets 2, Ciryl's going to get up and be in really big. If he gets up, he'll be in really big trouble. He's going to be a totally different fighter. And I think if he got him down a third time, it would have been wraps. But he proved that he only needed 1. So on the night, I lost. I risked $2,330, and I came away with $1,675.27. So that means I lost $654.73 on the night, which takes me out of the positive into the negative at $204.70. And then Kobe risked the most that we've risked in this show since we've started. You were risking $5,155 to and that was mainly because of the Bo Nickel pick and just risking $2,800. But you came away with 47, 26, 15, which means you lost 428.85, taking you from 795 negative to minus 1,223.85. So we're both back into the negative like we were 2 weeks ago, and
But
I'm hoping to make
we're
a bit.
getting them right. We're getting fights right.
Right, yeah, we're getting fights right. It was really, if Valentina wasn't such a big favorite, we probably would. If she was like a minus 300, I think we both would have went positive. But she was a giant favorite, and by the time she closed, like when the fight happened, and she was like a minus 1,000. But when we did the odds, she was a minus 925. And then on my swing slips, I'm gonna recap these real quick from last week. My lock of the night was Jon Jones, and that was correct. My underdog of the night was Jalen Turner, and that was unfortunately not. My hedge was correct with Bo Nickel and Jamie Pickett, where I was saying that either Jamie Pickett's going to win or Bo Nickel's going to win in round 1, and Bo Nickel won in round 1, so that hedged itself out at 0 for both of those bets. Didn't make nothing, didn't lose nothing. And then the 3-fighter parlay, Shevchenko, of course, ruined that. I had Jones, Shevchenko, and Romanov at plus 103. Shevchenko was the only leg to not hit on that. And then the Kobe crazy pick, which when Garbrandt took Trevin Jones back, I jumped up and I was going crazy. Dude, I was like, no way. If he gets that sub, I'm going to go nuts. And then we would have, Rachmanov still would have lost it anyway after that, but then we would have still been hyped with 2. I don't know. I might have cashed out if I saw Bo Nickel get the sub as well.
I did another bet, another Kobe crazy bet.
Yeah.
I had Ian Gary win by KO, Drickus to win by KO, Cody to win by KO, Bo Nickel to win by submission, Gamrot to win, Rachmanov to win by submission.
And it was just
Cody's
Cody.
the only one who didn't get it.
He sold the bag, dude.
He just needed any finish.
Yeah, dude. I know. That's gotta be. It's always mad annoying when that happens. When you pick the right person, but you don't pick the right outcome. If you're trying to go down to the specifics. But I was risking 7.85 units on that week, but I came away with 5.85, so I lost 2 units on that, and that means I go down to minus 8.35 units on the year, so I'm not doing too well. But I'm 5 for 7 on main events, and I've hit every single lock. If I put the lock on somebody this year, I'm gone 3 for 3, and so that's nice. So, but going from there, we can move to this week's Slowburn Showdown, which is a very. I feel like the only reason it has even somewhat stardom is because the main event got canceled and put onto not even the co-main event, but the co-main event. It's the third fight from the last fight, if you know what I'm saying. And I don't know how you go from that point. I wouldn't accept that. If I'm a main event and I got that main event spot, like, wait until you can get another main event. Don't put me on a fight night, not even the co-main event, the fight before it. Like, they definitely earned a better fight spot than what they have, but they're gonna have to deal with it from where they're at. But first fight on the main card, it's a 6-fight main card this time. So we have Vitor Petrino versus Anton. You want to try this last name?
Turkalj.
Yeah, I like that.
His ring name is the Pleasure Man.
Yeah, and I saw his little interview, and he was saying that I think he was saying that his dad was making, I don't even know, I don't want to butcher, but it was something like his dad used to call him the pleasure kid because he would like flirt with girls or something, and then now he's a man, now he's called the pleasure man. He's trying to be like he was trying to almost do like some WWE stuff at the press conference, being like, you're looking at the most handsome man right now. Something like that. But who you got? You got the the pleasure man or Vitor?
I gotta. What does he look like?
Anton.
I like the name
Anton.
Vitor because it sounds like Vitor Belfort.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Pleasure Man just because that's his name.
Hell yeah.
The Pleasure Man.
And this is I think the odds are correct on this one. They're both at -110, and for anybody that watches this pod, get the odds. I do the odds every Wednesday, so whatever the odds are on Wednesday is what I pull from. And then if they change, obviously before this podcast gets put out or before you see it, that's why it's a little different. I'm sure it's changed already since I've last looked at it, but they were both -110 when I got them, and I think that's correct. Petrino has super heavy hands, and he can throw hard, like super hard, like knockout power. I know at least until round 2, like halfway through round 2. So I know through the first half of the fight, he's got super dangerous power in his hands. And one thing about him, on his Dana White Contender Series fight, he fought a dude that he already knocked out, and they made it like the guy that he knocked out won 3 fights, like 3 first-round finishes, and then wanted to rematch him, and they rematched him, and Vitor just knocked him out again. So proves that Vitor isn't just a fluke, that he can knock some people out that just aren't as skilled as him. So that's why I'm gonna pick Vitor. I think he's gonna get the KO. But we'll both risk -110 for our individual picks on that one. And then moving on to Saeed Nurmagomedov versus Jonathan Martinez. What are your thoughts first?
Is this guy related to B?
I don't know. I don't think so.
If he is, and I think he's gonna win. But if he's not, I'll just look it up real quick.
He does have he's very well rounded in the sense that his striking isn't really as bad as most Russians are, in my opinion. Like they usually are grapple fest with them guys, but this guy, he can actually strike. He'll throw spinning attacks and shit. Like he'll go a little crazy. And I think anytime you see the Nurmagomedov name under -300, you gotta mess around with it.
I want to go with Jonathan Martinez.
Oh, okay.
Sneak something in there.
You think he's gonna? He has very good stand up, and I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that if Saeed tries to stick with it, like stays to his ego and like tries to stand with them, that he could get caught with something and get put out cold. But this is also bantamweight, so it's not, they're not punching with the hardest punches per se. So he could not go out and maybe dragged into deep waters with a Nurmagomedov, and that's not always fun. So like I was saying earlier, anytime I see a Nurmagomedov under -300, I'm probably gonna mess around with it. So I'll take the -260 on him and risk $100 for that. But Martinez is +185, so you'll risk 100 for 185 with him, which isn't a bad bet as well, in my opinion. The next fight, I personally, if you're gonna bet on this card, I would just not bet on this fight because I think I think the line isn't that good, and 2, both guys are kind of like at the same level, and I think it's gonna turn into one of those weird fights where we don't really know who's gonna win until it happens. So, what do you think? From your thoughts of looking at the records and stuff?
I'm gonna look at Austin
Lingo.
Oh, what was his name? Lights Out Lingo. Going with Austin Lights Out.
He's never been finished. I've seen that, and he's also coming in at plus 270.
Fighting a zillion.
Which is kind of a big. What I was trying to say when I was saying I wouldn't bet on this fight is because Ramos, who I think is gonna win this fight, being at a -400, I don't like that line, and I wouldn't bet on that in real life. But if For the show, I gotta pick somebody, and I think I'm going to have to risk the minus 400 just because I think ideally I just if I pick it right, then it's worth it. But if I don't feel like going for Lingo at the plus 270 mark would be the best idea for me at least. So I'm gonna pick Ramos and risk 400 for 100, and you'll take Lingo for risk 100 for 270. Now moving on to the fight that was supposed to be the main event 2 weeks ago, the week before, Gane versus Jones. Nikita Krylov versus Ryan Spann. Nikita is number 6 contender and Ryan Spann is number 8. And I think the reason they pulled out because Krylov was sick with something. Sick with something, and uh, it happened the day of the fight. Like they were, I think they were almost going to the arena, and they pulled the card or pulled the fight. But what do you think is gonna happen?
I think I was picking Ryan Spann for this one. I think he's gonna do what I said he was gonna do last time, which I don't remember. He's gonna make up something. He's gonna come and head kick him.
Hell yeah, head
He's
kick,
gonna do that.
head kick knockout. That'd be cool if you could
It's a
bet.
catch weight fight.
That'd be cool if you could bet like what kind of knockout the person
like
gets.
question mark kick.
Yeah, yeah, and
Left
they would have a line for that. That'd be cool. But I agree with you. I really don't like how they're putting Ryan Spann as the underdog, and especially off of Krylov saying that he was sick and everything, and so Ryan Spann was
Usually
ready to
they
go
say that
anyway.
after a loss.
Right. So
I mean,
I mean, I'll take Ryan Spann at the underdog price on this one if that's what they're going to set the line at. So, yeah, we'll both take Ryan Spann at plus 140, risk 100 for 140. And then moving on to the co-main event, which one of them is my lock, and but I'll let you know who my lock is after. I'm sure you could guess.
let me. I'm gonna watch fucking watching some Romanov striking real quick.
Yep. Romanov, I think that's one thing that he struggles with. That's one thing he does struggle with is the stand-up game, and unfortunately, he's going against a striker. But saying all that, I think people that Volkov struggle with is wrestlers, and I think Romanov is really good at wrestling. And uh, what's weird is this is Volkov's 46th fight, and he's only 34. Like, he's not that old, but he's had 45 fights already, and this is going to be 46. Not in the UFC, but in total professional fights. And that's crazy. Holy shit. But my lock of the night is Romanov. I think he's going to be able to get him down to the ground and get a finish here relatively easy as well. Especially,
I'm gonna go with Volkov.
Oh shit!
I just the heavy hands. You know what I'm saying?
Kobe Timberlake going against my lock streak, dude. And honestly, when I was putting this down, this if he cashes, this would be my lowest line lock that I've hit. All the other the lowest line so far was Jon Jones at minus 185, but I'm going a little bit lower here at minus 155. And I understand why the line is where it's at, but I'm pretty confident in Romanov being able to get this one done. But the main event, which I'm actually have found myself getting really excited for, Petr Yan versus Merab Dvalishvili. What do you think about this one?
I think if it goes to a decision, Petr Yan's gonna lose. So he's gonna have to just knock him out. But I want Petr Yan to win. I really like Petr Yan. I think he's a good fighter. I've never watched Merab.
I agree that
he's a good fighter.
I think he needs a win. I mean, and I feel bad because his record doesn't. I feel like he shouldn't have. Well, it's arguable.
Well, 3 losses.
Two of the losses. Yeah, 2 or 3 of the losses he could potentially be the knee to the head and the decisions to Aljo. The Aljo and Petr Yan. Now the Aljo fight I think was more clear cut, but I think when we watched Petr Yan versus Sean O'Malley, I think we were all pretty shocked when we saw Sean O'Malley get his hand raised. Now, going back and watching that fight, when you watch it a second time, it's a lot closer than when I watched it back the first time. But even then, I still think Petr Yan won that fight. Super close one though. But who do you pick?
I want to see him. I'm gonna go with Petr Yan. I want him to make it back to the top.
Yeah.
He's a good fighter. I just want to see him beat Aljo. I don't care if it's for a belt or not.
Right. Uh, I like that pick, and also, but the only reason I'm not gonna pick Peter is because of where the line is at on Merab, and I feel like I make a lot of my bets based off the line instead of like whose skills is better, just because it's MMA and not take into factor that a lot of stuff can happen. And seeing Merab, who has super great wrestling, and it seems like Petr Yan, that's been his biggest downfall is when he gets out wrestled. That if Dvalishvili is going to be a plus 200 against Petr Yan instead of like a pick'em, then I think I'm going to ride the plus 200 uh, line number, and hopefully that comes through for me because he's going to be by underdog of the night as well, and I'll get to that in a second. But did you see the video of Merab, or did you
Were they
watch?
talking to each other or something?
Yeah, they were like talking to each other because apparently some guy of like Peter's team made a bet with Merab that uh, Aljo would beat Peter in their fight, and the guy never paid Merab after Aljo beat him, and then they just been like some like mafia type shit, like, oh, I'm gonna come to your country and I'm gonna find you if you don't pay this, all types of crazy. But then they were saying they met up in that little hallway that I put on my Instagram, and they were I don't know exactly what they were saying, but then Petr Yan walks off and he's like, after fight, we'll talk after fight. But
Yeah, so it's he's like, let's talk now, and I was just like, I couldn't hear anything, so I
yeah,
was like,
they were talking super quiet, super quiet. But moving on to my swing slips for this week. I already said my underdog and my lock, but I'll go through them real quick again. Merab Dvalishvili at plus 200. I'm going to risk 100 for 200 there. Alexandr Romanov, I'm going to risk 155 for 100 there. And then my prop of the night, which I think is at an excellent line. Instead of betting on Saeed Nurmagomedov straight up, I'm going to bet that he gets a sub or decision because I feel like those are the only two way he wins. I don't think he's going to knock out Martinez if he does win. I could be wrong on that. He has 7 knockouts on his record, but I think his only ways to win safely, I guess, is sub or decision. So I'll take him at minus 150 at that line, risk 150 for 100, and then my slick pick is the first fight on the main card with Vitor and the Pleasure Man, and I like this because I like to hedge myself sometimes to like keep myself safe, like I did last week with Bo Nickel and Jamie Pickett, and this one is basically a bet on either side of like this fighter could do this and this fighter could do that, and it would cash. So if Petrino gets a knockout or the Pleasure Man gets a decision, the bet will cash, and that's at minus 150 because essentially that's like, in my opinion, the only two ways that I can see either fighter winning their fights. So either the Pleasure Man's going to ride out a decision or Petrino's going to catch him early and knock him out. So I got that at minus 150, risk 150 for 100. And then my 3-fighter parlay, which I really like the odds on this, is Nurmagomedov, Spann, and Romanov at plus 432 is what I got on that. So risk 100 for $432. But my last pick is Kobe's pick, which I hope you got. You got your Kobe crazy pick.
I got it right here. You
Okay.
want me to read it?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
ready?
yeah, yeah. I'm super ready for this.
Alexandr Volkov to win by KO.
Okay.
/ TKO. That one.
Yeah, yeah.
And I got Merab to win by a decision.
Okay.
Ryan Spann to win. Jonathan Martinez to win by submission.
What?
Grand total. Wait, you want to hear the odds?
Yeah, you should. What's it? I want to know. I'm sure the Martinez one was the highest line number. The Martinez by sub. What was that at?
1,800.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Then the total odds. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
The 4 fighters.
Four leg.
Odds of 4-legger for a total odds of 82,457.
Okay. 82,457.
If I put $10 on it, I would win $8,255.78.
Oh. Imagine.
It's gonna hit. It's
that big.
To hit.
We'll definitely know. I guess.
Placed it.
Would you? I feel like would you cash out if Saeed or if Martinez got the sub? like subbed him.
No, if he gets the sub, then it's hitting.
Yeah, I
I'm
feel like you're
riding it.
yeah,
If he
you're gonna
gets the
ride it to
sub.
the end. Man, that would be something. And I like what the picks you put in your Kobe crazy pick because it'll kind of hedge a couple of my picks. So if stuff starts going wrong, it could be going right in one sense. If that makes sense. So that'd be awesome. 82,000.
457.
Oh my God.
That's the odds.
$100 would win you 82K. That'd be crazy, dude.
$557
That'd be
and
nuts.
80 cents. Oh, it's gonna hit, man. I put $10 on it. I'm getting $8,000. We're rocking Cuban links the next
What would you
episode.
what would you
That's 100
what would you do? Yeah, what would you do if
I
that
told
cash?
you I do. I'm getting Cuban links. We're rocking it for the Swink.
Yes.
It's gonna have. I don't know what yours will say. Slowburn. Mine will say. I don't know.
big
Uh,
big K. I don't even know. Big
I don't
K.
even know if those are $8,000. This is probably a little bit more.
We could find some off-brand ones.
Yeah.
That would be nuts. You got any closing thoughts for this one?
I'm gonna
Did
make
you
another
remember?
parlay.
Did you remember your non-MMA?
No.
Nope.
I did not.
Damn.
But I'm gonna make another parlay of just the crazy names. So you got the Pleasure Man, Lingo, Cedricus, all those names. I want to make it a parlay. They're winning. It's called the Crazy Name Parlay.
Crazy. Yeah, I got you. Yes. All right, bet. Yeah, we'll have that for next week. All right. I appreciate everybody joining through the first 10 episodes. This has been really fun.